What Nostradamus predicted for October 2025 will leave you speechless. Imagine waking up on the morning of October 29th, 2025, and stepping outside to find the sky not as you have ever seen it before. A strange glow, an unearthly presence, hanging above Earth. At first, it may look like a comet streaking through space, but ancient prophecy tells us it may be something much more sinister. Some call it Three-Eye Atlas. NASA calls it an interstellar comet. But the mystics, the prophets, and the seers of old warned us that one day a stranger from the sky would descend, shaking the earth and humanity itself. Nostradamus, the most cryptic prophet of all time, spoke of fire falling from the heavens, of shaking cities, and of mankind trembling before something that was not of this world. Could October 29, 2025, be the very day his words leap from dusty pages into living reality? Could this comet be the trigger for the 3 days of darkness that so many saints and mystics warned us about? For centuries, Nostradamus's words have baffled and mesmerized scholars. His quatrains are layered with codes, metaphors, and hidden meanings, but when pieced together, they paint a terrifying picture of events yet to come. He wrote of the great star that would blaze in the sky, the shaking of the ground beneath men's feet, and the appearance of strange beings, strangers unlike anything we have known. He never used the word alien, of course, but in his language, he spoke of beings not born of earth, entities that would arrive in times of great cosmic upheaval. Skeptics dismissed these predictions as poetic riddles, but time and again Nostradamus's visions have aligned with history, wars, plagues, revolutions. So when he warns of fire in the sky and strangers descending, should we dismiss it or should we prepare? The name Three-Eye Atlas might sound scientific, neutral, harmless. But when we peel back the layers, the story becomes chilling. Astronomers classify it as an interstellar object, much like Oumuamua, which passed through our solar system in 2017. But unlike Oumuamua, Three-Eye Atlas is not silent. It glows with a fiery intensity. It carries mass, speed, and a trajectory that makes experts uneasy. Some calculations suggest it will pass unusually close to Earth around the end of October 2025. Official agencies assure us there is no direct threat, but history has shown us that the universe is unpredictable, and prophecy tells us that what looks like coincidence may in fact be destiny. Could it be that Nostradamus foresaw this very object centuries before science gave it a name? Could his fiery star be none other than Three-Eye Atlas? And here is where the mystery deepens. Nostradamus wasn't alone. Baba Vanga, the blind mystic of Bulgaria, also warned of a time near the end of 2025 when strangers would arrive. She claimed that these strangers would not be of Earth, that humanity would face a great test of survival and unity. She even mentioned a celestial fire that would cross the skies, causing fear and awe. How strange that two prophets, centuries apart, should speak of the same signs: fire in the heavens, strangers arriving, earth trembling. And now, in October 2025, a comet by the name of Atlas, literally echoing the titan of the heavens who bore the weight of the sky, is set to make its closest approach. Coincidence or divine alignment? Some believers argue that Three-Eye Atlas is not a comet at all. They suggest it is a vessel, cloaked in cosmic dust, hiding its true nature until the appointed time. Nostradamus's quatrains hint at machines in the sky, great and terrible, shining like stars but bringing fear. In an age when he could not conceive of spacecraft, could his vision have been of something technological, something alien? Was he trying to describe a ship from another world, veiled in fire and light, appearing like a comet to human eyes? If so, then October 29, 2025, might mark the day humanity's illusion of cosmic solitude is shattered forever. But the prophecy does not stop with aliens. It speaks of catastrophe. Nostradamus warned of great earthquakes shaking cities, of the seas rising, of fire raining down. If Three-Eye Atlas passes too close, even if it does not strike Earth, the gravitational pull alone could disturb tectonic plates, stirring earthquakes in regions already unstable. Prophets across time foresaw this. The Hopi people spoke of the blue Kachina, a heavenly body that would dance in the sky, heralding great change and upheaval. The blue Catchina was said to be followed by a red star, signaling purification of the world. Could Three-Eye Atlas be the blue Catchina of Hopi prophecy? Could its fiery glow be the sign they waited for? And then there is the dreaded prophecy of the 3 days of darkness. Padre Pio, a 20th century mystic, warned his followers that the world would be plunged into total darkness for 3 days, during which demons would roam the earth, and only blessed candles would provide light. He spoke of a fiery event in the sky, a cosmic sign that would precede this darkness. Others, from Marie-Julie Jahini in France to modern visionaries, echoed the same warning. The sky will darken, fire will fall, and mankind will be tested. October 2025 aligns too closely with these warnings to ignore. A fiery comet. A day of reckoning. Could the passing of Three-Eye Atlas ignite this event? Could the dust and debris from its tail blanket the earth, plunging us into literal darkness? Or is the darkness metaphorical, representing chaos, collapse, and fear sweeping across the globe? Let us pause and consider the timing. October 29th, 2025 is not just any date. It falls on the cusp of significant astrological alignments. Some astrologers note that planets will form tense aspects, magnifying energies of conflict, upheaval, and transformation. Nostradamus himself often tied his prophecies to planetary alignments, noting that the heavens would declare the signs of Earth's destiny. Could this alignment, combined with the comet's arrival, be the trigger point for everything he foresaw? Skeptics argue, of course. They say comets come and go, and none have brought about the end of the world. They point to Hale-Bopp, Halley's Comet, and others. But prophecy is not about what is normal. It is about what is exceptional. Nostradamus did not write about every comet. He reserved his words for one that would bring fire and terror. Baba Vanga did not warn of every star. She warned of strangers linked to a fiery sign. The Hopi did not speak of every celestial visitor. They spoke of the one that would signal the great purification. To dismiss Three-Eye Atlas as just another comet is to ignore the haunting convergence of prophecies pointing to this exact moment. And here lies the human question. What happens if they were right? What if October 29th, 2025 becomes the day our reality fractures? What if a comet is not just a comet, but the carrier of destiny? Some envision alien ships emerging from the fiery body, descending upon Earth in a grand unveiling. Others see it as the trigger of natural disasters, earthquakes, volcanoes, and storms of fire. And some fear it is the instrument of divine judgment, sent by God to purify a corrupt and rebellious world. Whichever path we take, the end is not in silence, it is in fire, fear, and revelation. Think of the ancient world for a moment. When comets streaked across the skies, civilizations trembled. To them, a comet was never a neutral rock. It was a sword, a warning, a message from the gods. The fall of empires was often tied to these blazing stars. Even Julius Caesar's death was followed by a great comet, seen as his soul ascending. Nostradamus, steeped in the traditions of astrology and history, knew this. He saw in the comet not just a natural event, but a divine message. When he wrote of fire from the heavens consuming cities, he was echoing the deepest fears of humanity that the skies themselves could turn against us. And here in our modern age, with all our technology, we are not immune. Satellites can track Three-Eye Atlas, telescopes can measure its speed, but they cannot predict its deeper meaning. Prophecy is not measured in kilometers or orbits, it is measured in spirit. It is measured in the way events align, the way symbols speak, the way ancient words come alive when reality begins to match them. October 29th, 2025 may not only be an astronomical date, it may be the culmination of centuries of warning. Consider the earthquakes Nostradamus predicted. He wrote of cities crumbling, of lands splitting. Some researchers point to his quatrain that says, "The trembling of the earth at the approach of the great star, fire in the sky seen from east to west." If Three-Eye Atlas passes close enough, gravitational disturbances could indeed trigger seismic unrest. Imagine, in the span of a few days, great cities from Istanbul to Los Angeles shaking, buildings collapsing, people flooding into the streets in terror. Prophecy speaks of this chaos not as a random disaster, but as the beginning of something larger. The destruction would be terrible, but it would serve as a sign. The age of comfort is over. The age of reckoning has begun. And what of the skies burning? Nostradamus warned of fire from the heavens. Some interpret this as meteors, debris trailing behind 3I Atlas, entering our atmosphere and igniting into blazing firestorms. Such events have been recorded in history. The Tunguska event in 1908 flattened forests with explosive force, and that was from a small comet fragment. Imagine what even a small piece of 3I Atlas could do if it entered Earth's atmosphere. Entire cities could be consumed in flames within minutes. The prophets were not exaggerating when they spoke of fire from the heavens. They were describing something humanity has yet to witness on a global scale. But let us not forget the strangest part of the prophecy. The strangers, Nostradamus hinted, Baba Vanga declared, and modern ufologists echo it today, that the fiery stranger in the sky may not travel alone. Could October 2025 reveal that 3I Atlas is more than rock and ice? Could it be a carrier, a signal, or even a cover for something greater? For decades, conspiracy theorists have whispered that interstellar objects are not random, they are scouts, probes, or even vessels. If so, then the arrival of 3I Atlas could coincide with the arrival of beings we have only imagined in nightmares or visions. And here is where prophecy becomes moral. Baba Vanga warned that humanity's response would determine the outcome. If we meet the strangers divided, arrogant, clinging to weapons and pride, we will fall. But if we meet them united, humble, and wise, we may survive. Nostradamus too suggested that humanity would face a trial, a great test that would either destroy us or transform us. October 2025 is not just about a comet, it is about humanity's soul. It is about whether we can endure what is coming without tearing ourselves apart. Pause for a moment and let this sink in. Fire from the sky, earthquakes in cities, 3 days of darkness, strangers descending. These are not the words of science fiction, they are the echoes of prophecy. They have been repeated for centuries, across continents, by mystics, visionaries, and seers who never knew each other, yet spoke the same warnings. And now, in our lifetime, in our very year of 2025, the pieces are falling into place. The comet has been discovered. The date has been set. The prophecies align. Are we ready? Or will we be caught blind, dismissing the warnings as superstition until it is too late? Because if Nostradamus was right, if October 29, 2025, is indeed the day of fire and strangers, then the world will never be the same. The history of humanity will split into 2 eras, before the comet and after the comet, before the strangers and after the strangers, before the darkness and after the darkness, and all of us, every man, woman, and child, will be part of that transformation. The great danger of prophecy is not only the events themselves, but the blindness of humanity toward them. For centuries, every time a warning was spoken, people shrugged it off until the moment it was too late. The story of Noah echoes this truth. People laughed at him, mocked him, until the floodwaters rose and swallowed everything. Nostradamus's words function much the same way. They are easy to ignore, even easier to ridicule, until the night comes when the sky itself burns with fire and every laugh turns into a scream. October 29, 2025, may be one of those moments, perhaps not the final end, but the threshold, the crossing from one world into another, from one era into the next. And what is prophecy if not a mirror of our choices? Think about it. When Nostradamus and others spoke of strangers, of fire, of trembling earth, they were not merely describing events. They were describing the consequences of a humanity that has wandered too far from balance. Earthquakes and storms are natural, yes, but when combined with human corruption, pride, and division, they become catastrophic. The comet may be a celestial body, but it may also be a catalyst and accelerant for everything already unstable in our world. Our political systems, our economies, our fragile peace, they stand like dry grass in the sun. One spark, one fiery stranger, and the blaze could consume the earth. This is why the prophecy carries such weight. Nostradamus foresaw not only destruction, but also renewal. Fire purifies as much as it destroys. The Hopi speak of purification. Baba Vanga spoke of humanity facing a great test. The Catholic mystics spoke of 3 days of darkness leading into a time of light. Could it be that October 29th, 2025 is not the end of humanity, but the end of what we have known, making room for something entirely new? Perhaps the strangers, if they come, are not invaders but judges or even teachers. Perhaps the fire is not just punishment but cleansing, a painful rebirth. Still, the fear remains real. The thought of skies filled with fireballs, of entire cities plunged into chaos, of people trapped in darkness for 3 long days, it chills the soul. Padre Pio's warning was stark. During those days, do not look out of your windows. Do not answer voices that call you, for demons will mimic the sounds of your loved ones. Only prayer, only faith, would protect the faithful. Imagine the terror of those nights, when electricity fails, the sun disappears, and the world outside your door roars with screams and fire. Whether taken literally or symbolically, this warning grips the heart. If October 29th truly marks the doorway into such an event, then humanity must prepare not with weapons, but with spirit. It is here that prophecy demands humility. Too often we believe we are in control, our science, our machines, our armies, our technology. Yet one rock from space, one shift in tectonic plates, one comet glowing too close, and the illusion collapses. Nostradamus was reminding us of this frailty. He spoke in riddles because the truth is too heavy to bear outright. Fire from the sky, the trembling earth, strangers arriving, these are not science fiction phrases. They are wake-up calls. October 29th, 2025 is that ringing alarm bell. The question is, will humanity rise, or will it stumble deeper into fear? Consider, too, the symbolic power of this date. October 29th carries echoes of history. It was the date of the Great Wall Street crash in 1929, a day the world economy collapsed into chaos. Some say history repeats, others say prophecy rhymes. Could October 29th, 2025 be another collapse, not of finances this time, but of the very structure of civilization itself? Nostradamus's timing was never accidental. Perhaps the comet's arrival on this precise date is more than coincidence. Perhaps it is the signal that the age of illusion is over. What will the morning of October 29th look like? Will the skies burn red as the comet makes its closest pass? Will seismic monitors scream as the ground shifts beneath our feet? Will fireballs rain down as fragments enter the atmosphere? Or will the true terror arrive silently, as ships cloaked in fire peel away from the comet's body and descend upon Earth? Even the prophets could not describe it fully, for their visions were limited by the language of their times. Nostradamus saw machines shining like stars. Baba Vanga spoke of strangers not of Earth. The Hopi spoke of the Kachina dancing in the heavens. Each vision is a shard of the same mirror. And on October 29th, 2025, humanity may finally see the whole reflection. But here is where the mystery cuts deepest. What if the prophecy is not external, but internal? What if the comet is a trigger, not for aliens or disasters, but for a spiritual unveiling within humanity itself? Mystics across traditions have spoken of an awakening, a moment when the veil between the material and the spiritual will tear open. Could Three-Eye Atlas, glowing in the night sky, be the cosmic sign that triggers such an awakening? Could the 3 days of darkness represent the collapse of our illusions, forcing us into silence, into stillness, so that when the light returns, we are not the same? If so, then the strangers are not aliens, but our own higher selves, finally unveiled. Whichever way the prophecy manifests, through fire, through darkness, through strangers, the fact remains. October 29th, 2025 is not just another date on the calendar. It is a convergence, a point where science, myth, religion, and prophecy all point to the same sky. Nostradamus's quatrains, Baba Vanga's visions, Hopi prophecies, Catholic mystics, modern astronomers, they all converge here. One voice says comet, another says alien, another says darkness, another says purification. but together they speak of change great, undeniable, unstoppable change. So we must ask, are we ready? Not in terms of bunkers or canned food, but in terms of spirit. Are we ready to face the unknown, the terrifying, the awe-inspiring? Are we ready to admit that prophecy is not about doom, but about destiny? If Nostradamus was right, then the fiery stranger will not be ignored. It will demand humanity's attention. And in that moment, we will have to decide what kind of people we are. Will we collapse in fear, or will we rise in faith? As the comet approaches, as October draws nearer, we cannot afford to laugh it off. Even if nothing happens, the lesson remains. Humanity is fragile, time is short, and prophecy is not a bedtime story. It is a warning. Perhaps 3-Eye Atlas will blaze past us and leave only awe in the sky. Or perhaps it will ignite the very events Nostradamus described. Either way, October 29th, 2025 will mark a turning point in human memory. Because when prophecy, history, and the heavens themselves align, the world never remains the same. And maybe, just maybe, this is the moment the prophets longed for. Not the end of humanity, but the beginning of its awakening. Not the fall into darkness, but the rising into light. Not the arrival of invaders, but the reunion with truths we have forgotten. If Nostradamus's quatrains carry even a fraction of truth, then we are living on the edge of an unfolding mystery greater than we can imagine. October 29th is no longer a date. It is a prophecy breathing into reality. And when that day comes, every eye will look to the heavens, every heart will tremble, and every soul will know the time has come. There is a sobering truth that resonates through every line of prophecy. Humanity has always been warned, but humanity has rarely listened. Nostradamus did not write for his own age, he wrote for the generations yet to come, for moments when the signs would align so perfectly that ignoring them would be impossible. October 29th, 2025 is shaping to be such a moment. The comet, the prophecies, the convergence of signs all point toward an unveiling unlike anything we have seen before. Yet, the true danger may not be in the comet itself, but in how we, as humans, respond to it. History teaches us this. When great disasters strike, plagues, wars, earthquakes, it is not only the event that destroys, but the panic that follows. People turn on each other, governments collapse under the weight of fear, order dissolves into chaos. Nostradamus foresaw this too. He wrote of men driven mad by fear, turning on their brothers as the heavens burn. Baba Vanga warned that humanity's greatest test would not be survival of the event, but survival of each other. If 3-Eye Atlas triggers chaos, whether through disaster, alien presence, or divine sign, the true trial will be how humanity treats humanity. And this is where the prophecy takes a turn from terrifying to deeply personal, because prophecy is not only about nations and empires, it is about individuals. Padre Pio's words about the 3 days of darkness were not meant to terrify, but to prepare. He warned people to have blessed candles, not to open their doors, not to let fear overwhelm them. In essence, he was telling people, when the world outside collapses, guard the light within. That is the essence of prophecy, preserving the inner flame when the outer world is swallowed by darkness. So what might the world look like after October 29th? Some believe the event will mark the beginning of an apocalypse, a collapse from which humanity never recovers. But others believe it will spark a rebirth. Nostradamus hinted at this, writing of a new world rising from the ashes of the old, guided by a new light in the heavens. The Hopis speak of the great purification leading into the fifth world, a time of harmony after great suffering. Baba Vanga spoke of humanity learning humility and unity in the wake of great trial. Could it be that the comet is not only a warning, but also an opportunity? A chance for humanity to reset, to finally learn the lessons it has ignored for centuries. Yet, even if hope lies on the other side, the trial itself will not be gentle. Nostradamus was clear. Cities will shake, fire will fall, fear will spread. Imagine entire nations plunged into darkness, their infrastructures shattered by seismic upheaval or power failures. Imagine the panic as communication lines collapse, as skies glow with unfamiliar lights, as whispers spread of strangers descending. Humanity will be forced to face its deepest fear, the unknown. And in that moment, prophecy ceases to be theory. It becomes reality, written not in dusty books, but in fire across the night sky. But here is where another layer unfolds. Could it be that the comet itself is not the ultimate prophecy, but merely the key to unlocking it? Nostradamus often wrote in layers, with one event being the trigger for another. The fiery stranger may not be the end, but the beginning of a cascade. Earthquakes, wars, darkness, these may follow not directly from the comet, but from the human reaction to it. Fear can spark wars, panic can spark collapse, and in the chaos, the true danger may emerge. This is why so many mystics stressed prayer, humility, and preparation, not because they could stop the comet, but because they could stop the collapse of the soul. Think, too, of the strange precision of prophecy. Nostradamus did not say, sometime. He spoke of specific alignments, of events tied to planetary positions. Astronomers now confirm that on October 2025, the skies will be unusually charged. Is it possible that he foresaw not just a comet, but the cosmic energy surrounding it? Could the arrival of 3I Atlas coincide with a shift in consciousness, a tearing of the veil between what is seen and unseen? This would explain the visions of strangers beings not necessarily physical, but spiritual, revealed when the barrier between worlds weakens. For 3 days, perhaps, humanity will walk between two realities, the material and the spiritual. That is the essence of the darkness, not the absence of light, but the presence of too much truth for human eyes to bear. And what about those strangers? Some insist they will be extraterrestrial, a civilization far beyond ours, arriving at the appointed time. Others believe they are spiritual entities, angels, demons, or something in between, waiting for the veil to thin. Both interpretations strike fear, but both also hold possibility. If they are aliens, perhaps they come to warn, to guide, or to judge. If they are spiritual, perhaps they come to separate light from darkness, to sift the faithful from the faithless. Either way, October 29, 2025, may be the day when humanity's illusion of being alone ends forever. But prophecy also demands responsibility. It is not enough to sit and wait, to tremble and wonder. The purpose of prophecy is to prepare not with bunkers or stockpiles, but with wisdom and unity. Nostradamus's warning, Baba Vanga's vision, the Hopi's teaching, Padre Pio's message all point to one truth. Division leads to downfall, but unity can carry humanity through. When the fiery stranger arrives, when the earth trembles, when the skies burn, humanity's greatest weapon will not be technology, it will be compassion, courage, and faith. And here is the final mystery. Perhaps October 29, 2025 is not fixed in stone. Prophecy reveals possibilities, not certainties. Nostradamus wrote of warnings, but he also hinted at choices. Baba Vanga said humanity's readiness would determine the outcome. The Hopi said the purification could lead to destruction or to renewal, depending on how people lived. That means we still have time. Time to awaken, time to unite, time to choose. The comet may come, the fire may fall, the strangers may arrive, but how humanity responds is still unwritten. That is the power and the burden of prophecy. So, as October 29th approaches, the question is not only what Nostradamus predicted, but what we will do with it. Will we dismiss it, mock it, and stumble blindly into the fire? Or will we heed the warnings, prepare our spirits, and face the fiery stranger with courage? Prophecy is not a prison, it is a map. And right now, that map is pointing to the sky. When the day comes, when millions lift their eyes to see 3I Atlas blazing across the heavens, we will know that the words written centuries ago were never just riddles. They were preparation. And in that moment, whether in fear or in awe, every heart will understand. The prophecy has unfolded. Because October 29, 2025, will not be remembered as just another date. It will be remembered as the day when the sky itself spoke, when the words of Nostradamus roared to life, when humanity stood on the razor's edge of destiny. And what happens next will depend not on the comet, not on the strangers, but on us,